Hey, what's up, y'all? It's a kid with OCD here. I've been struggling with pure OCD for a decade now. I'm 23. I was diagnosed when I was 13, and I've been suffering with it for so long that I've studied the fuck out of it and know everything there is to know about pure OCD. And I know how to treat it. I know how to beat the fuck out of it. And that's what I'm about to tell you. Pure OCD is just like any other subgenre of OCD, except it means all my obsessions and compulsions are purely mental. And for so long, for so many fucking years, I was running from these thoughts. I mean, it's human nature to run from these horrific, intrusive thoughts you have zero control over. For so many years, I avoided these thoughts so fucking hard. I refused them. I tried so hard to get rid of them. And all that does is make it a million times worse. The harder you try not to think of something, the more you're going to think it. And that obviously goes for really anybody, but especially people with OCD. The more you avoid your obsessions, the more powerful they become, until they become so powerful you literally can't do anything, can't function. And I've found a way to beat it. And how you beat it is something called ERP. And trust me, I've tried everything in the fucking book. This is the sure way to beat it and defeat it. I'm talking fucking defeat it to where you can be symptom free. Crazy, I know. It's called ERP, Exposure Response Prevention Therapy. And it really, it's scary at first, but it fucking works. And OCD being an anxiety disorder, a doctor told me one time the best way to defeat anxiety is become its best fucking friend. And what ERP does is it teaches you to never, ever, ever avoid obsessive thoughts, never, ever disagree with them, never push them out, never resist them, never fight it. The best and sure way to defeat OCD is you run toward those fucking thoughts as fast as you can. You embrace the thoughts. You become those thoughts' best friends. You agree with all your obsessive thoughts. You encourage them, and you think on them as intensely as you can. Because you know what that does to your brain? Before, when you avoid your obsessive thoughts, what is going on in your brain is when those thoughts come in and you react to them in a very negative way, and you try to avoid them, your brain says, okay, so these, because he or she is avoiding these thoughts, they must be a real threat. This must be legitimate, so I'm going to set off my little alarm system. And your alarm system and your brain is what sets off your anxiety, giving you crippling anxiety to where you really can't function in anything. And so every time you give in to a compulsion, or every time you run away from your obsessive thoughts, your brain is like, okay, these thoughts are real, they're legitimate. And by attacking those thoughts, meaning embracing them and welcoming them with open arms, by doing that, your brain is like, okay, well, now he or she, now the sufferer is thinking them on purpose, so they must not be that bad. I mean, he or she is willfully thinking these thoughts, so they can't really be a threat. And over time, your brain builds a tolerance to these thoughts to where, like, when you think them so hard to the point to where, I mean, you're obviously doing it on purpose and your brain catches on that you're doing it on purpose, it will no longer set off that alarm system. It will no longer trigger that negative fight or flight response, because the brain is like, okay, these thoughts are illegitimate. And it will get to the point, it's scary as shit at first. It's going against everything you've been doing. But it's literally the only way if you ever hope to defeat OCD. And I also suggest going and seeing a psychiatrist or psychologist to get on, or start trying some different meds, because there's a ton of meds they have out there for OCD in general. Very, very treatable, but it's a very sadistic, vindictive, demonic. I don't actually mean demonic, but it's a very sadistic disorder to have, and it will ruin so many aspects of your life if you let it. Well, that's a beautiful thing. You don't have to let it. by embracing those obsessions, by resisting to do your little compulsions in your head to counteract that obsession, by resisting to do that, you can defeat it. I promise you. So please, fucking bring them in, bring them on. Welcome these OCD thoughts in, thank them and encourage them, and think it more and think it more and think it more. And then your anxiety, in a way, gets bored and leaves. It really does leave once you make it your best friend. So I hope you guys are able to understand what I'm saying, because it's the truth. And trust me, there's really no other way to do it. I fucking tried every other way. You can avoid it for a little bit, but in the end, it will. If you don't do it like this, you're gonna continue to be stuck in the sadistic, horrific cycle that OCD is. So I encourage you all to get help, and it's gonna take a lot of bravery to face these thoughts. But just know that it's gonna be all right in the end, and this is the only way, and you can start doing it right now. Do it right now. Well, I'm going to go enjoy my life now that my symptoms have dropped by like 90%. And I wish and I pray the best for all of you watching this, but just know there is hope. And I know there's probably psychiatrists and doctors out there that may not understand what you're going through, but just understand that most of them don't have mental illnesses themselves. And while I love the fact that they're helping and they're thinking of new medications for people with mental illnesses, a person can only understand a mental illness so much from studying it or from reading a book. Nobody will understand mental illness like the actual sufferer. It's impossible. So don't get discouraged. There is hope for this horrific disorder, and you can overcome it and become a king, like I'm currently doing right now. Yeah, so tell me how it goes. Cool, see ya.